Hi everyone, welcome. In our last few lessons we've been working with question words or interrogative words in Spanish. In this lesson we are going to look at the question word cuál. It also has a plural form which is cuáles. Cuál means which, and the plural form cuáles means which ones when you're referring to more than one item. Just a quick word of warning about cuál. The main meaning of cuál is which. However, there are a few cases in which cuál will translate back to English as what, and we'll look at some of those examples. So remember, cuál means which, cuáles means which ones. Here's our first example. If I want to say which one do you have, in Spanish we start with cuál, and then the verb to have is tener, and we're using the informal you here, so the question is, ¿cuál tienes? ¿Cuál tienes? Next we have the question, which ones do you have? Remember, we're referring to more than one item, so we have to use the plural form of cuál, which is cuáles. ¿Cuáles tienes? Which ones do you have? Which do you like, or which ones do you like? Let's look at both of these options here. So this is a verb we haven't formally looked at yet. So the verb is gustar, and gustar is a verb that doesn't function like other regular AR verbs, so that's coming in a future lesson. ¿Cuál te gusta? Which do you like? Which ones do you like? ¿Cuáles te gustan? Notice that gustan has an N here. A few more examples. Which one is it? ¿Cuál es? Which one is yours? ¿Cuál es el tuyo? Which is your favorite book? ¿Cuál es tu libro favorito? Remember, I mentioned that sometimes cuál is translated back to English as what. So there are some questions that we ask in Spanish that always begin with cuál. Questions such as, what's your name? What's your address? What's your phone number? What's your date of birth? All of these questions begin with cuál. So the first one, what's your name, is ¿cuál es tu nombre? What's your address? ¿Cuál es tu dirección? What's your phone number? ¿Cuál es tu número de teléfono? Sometimes people just ask the question, ¿cuál es tu teléfono? And the last question is, what's your date of birth? ¿Cuál es tu fecha de nacimiento? Notice that the question is cuál in all of these examples. However, when you translate it back to English, it means what? Now, all of these questions are informal because we're using the informal word for your, which is tú. If I want to make the questions formal, I would use su. Su means your when you use usted with someone. So the questions would be, ¿cuál es su nombre? ¿Cuál es su dirección? ¿Cuál es su número de teléfono? ¿Cuál es su fecha de nacimiento? Now, there's something tricky about using cuál in Spanish, and it causes problems for native English speakers when they're learning Spanish. So let's say you ask me, how do you say which in Spanish? The question word which. I would say, well, it depends. Most of the time you're going to use cuál, especially when a verb follows. However, if you want to say something like which book or which house or which shirt, when a noun immediately follows, in Spanish, the rule is that you have to use que instead of cuál. So when a noun immediately follows, use que instead of cuál. So if I want to say, which book do you want? You might think, well, it's cuál libro quieres. However, the rule is use que instead of cuál when the noun follows. So instead of saying cuál libro, you say qué libro quieres. In this case, que means which when you translate it back to English. Which book do you want? ¿Qué libro quieres? ¿Qué libro quieres? Let's try another one. Which car are you going to buy? Which car? So let's use the word carro. If you want to say which car, instead of saying ¿cuál carro? We would say ¿qué carro? ¿Qué carro vas a comprar? ¿Qué carro vas a comprar? ¿Qué carro vas a comprar? Which car are you going to buy? That's it for this lesson. Thanks so much for watching. If you found it helpful, I would appreciate it very much if you'd give it a like. To continue learning Spanish and go on to the next lesson, click on the video that appears here on your screen. See you soon. Hasta pronto.